This is the Winix 55-2 air purifier. My first impression was how straightforward it felt before I even powered it on. The box had exactly what I needed and nothing extra. The unit, a small remote that actually gets used, and a manual that's clear and worth reading, especially the safety notes and the filter setup steps. I did have a quick moment of doubt about whether the filters were installed right out of the box, and I'm glad I checked. The filters ship sealed in plastic. You have to pop off the front panel, pull them out, and remove the wrapping before you run it. It's a basic step, but I've seen people miss it and wonder why airflow seems weak. With the plastic off, the filters slide back in easily, and the front cover snaps on without fuss. From my experience, the filtration stack is exactly what I was looking for at this price. You get a true HEPA filter for the microscopic stuff like dust, pollen, and smoke particles, and a washable AOC carbon filter for odors. There's also a simple mesh screen that catches larger lint and hair so the main filters don't clog too quickly. HEPA means it's rated to capture 99.97% of particles down to 0.3 microns. The carbon filter is a soft honeycomb-style panel, and being washable is a big deal for me because it stretches the time between replacements and helps with long-term costs. I rinse it when it starts to look dull or smells a little stale, then let it dry completely before putting it back. Key features that stand out in daily use are auto mode, night mode, the air quality indicator, the timer, and PlasmaWave mode. Auto mode has been the set-it-and-forget-it option in my home. A built-in sensor reads the air and bumps the fan up or down to match what's happening. When I cook, I usually see the light change color and the fan speed jump. The color ring is simple. It shifts as air quality changes, so even without knowing the exact numbers, I get an instant read. I like that I don't have to babysit it. The timer is practical. I use the 1-hour timer if I'm clearing a smell after cooking, and the 4 or 8-hour setting when I want it to run while I'm out and then shut off. Night mode is a big plus. It dims the lights on the panel and drops the fan to the lowest setting. The sound at that level is a soft hush. The spec says 27.8 decibels, which lines up with what I'm hearing. It fades into the background like a gentle white noise. I'm sensitive to buzzing or rattling at night, and I didn't get that here. If anything, it helped mask street noise. I've slept with it running and woke up without the dry throat I get in stuffy rooms. PlasmaWave mode is Winix's extra layer. In plain terms, it ionizes to help break down pollutants like odors and certain gases. It's optional and you can toggle it on or off. I tested it during a week when I cooked a lot and had a friend over who smokes. With PlasmaWave on, smells cleared faster. It does make the unit a touch louder on higher speeds, and if you're sensitive to any kind of ionization feature, you might prefer to leave it off. I didn't notice any odd smells or irritation while using it. In my opinion, it's a nice tool to have in your back pocket for tougher air days. I tried this in a roughly 300 square foot living room and a smaller bedroom. The rated coverage is up to 360 square feet, and that feels accurate in practice. In the living room, running it on auto for a few hours after cooking got rid of lingering odors I used to fight with open windows. In the bedroom, it kept the space fresh and dust on surfaces dropped. The morning sniff test after a full night was clean, with no stale air. Allergies are tricky and different for everyone, but I noticed fewer sneezes in the morning, and that's enough proof for me that it's doing its job. The design is clean and neutral. It's compact enough not to dominate the room, and the footprint makes it easy to tuck along a wall. The dimensions are about 7.8 inches deep, 14.9 inches wide, and 23.6 inches tall. Air intake is at the front, exhaust at the top, so I just give it some space around the sides and back for airflow. The top buttons are responsive and clear, and the remote covers the basics without extra fluff. I like being able to click auto or night without getting up. The remote is small though, so I keep it in a drawer so it doesn't disappear into the couch. Noise depends on the speed. On low, it's whisper quiet. On medium, it's a steady whoosh you can talk over without raising your voice. On high, it moves a lot of air, and you'll hear it, but it isn't a harsh sound. I did get a slight vibration once when I set it on a thinner rug. Moving it onto a flat surface fixed that right away. I find that the tone of the fan is more important than the raw volume, and this one is smooth rather than buzzy. Maintenance is simple. The front panel pops off without tools. I vacuum the mesh screen when I see visible dust and rinse the carbon filter now and then. The HEPA filter isn't washable. Your replacement schedule will depend on how dusty your space is and how often you run the unit, but a year for the HEPA is a workable estimate for average use. The filter reset light is a helpful reminder, and reset is done with a quick press and hold after you swap. If you've never owned an air purifier, that's how most of them work. Carbon for smells, HEPA for tiny particles, and a profilter to catch the big stuff. I did have a couple of early questions that might help you. I wondered if auto mode was just a gimmick. It's not. The fan changes are responsive and tied to real events like cooking, cleaning, or opening windows on a windy day. I also wondered if night mode would dim the lights enough. It does. The LEDs become very low-key, and if you're super light sensitive, you can still cover the panel with a small sticky note, but I didn't need to. My last question was about running costs. The washable carbon filter stretches replacement intervals, and the HEPA prices are reasonable for the performance you get. It's perfect for bedrooms, apartments, home offices, and living rooms up to mid-size. It's also a solid fit for pet owners who deal with dander and litter box smells, and for anyone who cooks often and wants fewer lingering odors. If you have wildfire smoke in your area at certain times of the year, having this on auto with the timer is a simple way to keep indoor air in a better place without thinking about it all day. In my opinion, the Winix 55-2 hits the sweet spot of performance, price, and ease of use. The combination of a true HEPA filter, a washable carbon filter, smart auto mode, and a quiet night mode makes it easy to live with. I like that the design blends in and that the controls are straightforward. If I could change anything, I might add a little holder for the remote and include a quick filter setup card right on the front panel to remind new users to remove the plastic. Those are small asks, and they don't change how capable the unit is. From my experience, I'd recommend this for people with mild to moderate allergies, pet owners, light sleepers, and anyone who wants cleaner air without micromanaging a device. If you're covering a very large open-plan space, you might need 2 units or a bigger model, but for medium rooms this does the job well. In conclusion, the Winix 55-2 is reliable, easy to set up, quiet when you need it to be, and strong enough to handle everyday air challenges. It has the right mix of key features without being complicated, and it earns its spot in a home where clean air actually matters day to day. To learn more about the Winix 55-2, please check the comments section. Thank you for watching.